literally the timing of your email Sage was kind of crazy because I think I had just hit follow because like the Casper dudes had talked about you guys, and then I went and like listened to like the new release, and then like next thing I knew, there was an email just sitting in my inbox, and I was like, dude, it was meant to be.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, so I saw that you followed us, and then I remember Casper doing your interview, and I was like, okay, like, I was like, hey, they just followed us. So I was like, I wonder if I can hit them up about doing a little interview.
Well, my only question to you is, I know we got some brews. Do you guys all have a fresh one to be part of the opening crack with me?
So fresh, so clean.
Hell yeah.
What do we all work? I got Guinness here. I had to drink a full meal.
I got some Simply lemonade spiked.
Love that. I
drank a lot of hams last night, so I gotta do something light today.
What do you got, John?
I got classic PBR.
Oh yeah, that's emo, dude. Good
on brand.
All right, so I'll count us in, and then we'll do the crack, and then I'll do the little intro, and then bring you guys in.
Rock and roll.
All right. So in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week, I got another solid, sick Michigan band on the podcast. I'm sitting down with FinalBossFight. How are you guys doing?
Yo,
great.
Doing great.
Fantastic.
Hell yeah. For people that might not be aware, FinalBossFight, you guys are from like the Lansing, Flint, Michigan area. You guys are like pop punk, emo. Based off one of the songs from the new album, a little bit of ska influence in there. But we'll kind of get into that here in a little bit. For a little backstory for people that might not be aware, you guys started out in a good old early 2020. Great time to start a band. I do got to commend you guys for not getting deterred from the pandemic and actually like sticking with it, because I know a lot of people would have been like, oh no, we just started in the world. This is a sign from the world that we probably shouldn't be doing this as a band at all. But fuck that. You guys kept it going and kept rocking. You guys have at the time of this recording, obviously you have your first EP came out in 2020 called The Light in Your Room, and then you also had in 2022 If You Don't Mind, which was your debut full length, which I listened to both of those today. Got to get the whole feel for FinalBossFight. They had different evolutions, different stages, if you will. And, it's still sick. Everyone that's listening, be sure to go check those out. But I kind of want to just jump right into it. Obviously, the reason you guys are on today is to talk about your self-titled that recently came out on Black Friday of 2023. I think it's great collection of 8 songs. It's an amazing, it's that weird moment. I consider it 8 songs. That's an LP to me. Time-wise, it's like an EP. What are you guys calling it?
I pretty much agree, yeah.
It's an album.
Okay.
So much debate about it, but I feel like you can just call it whatever you want. Like, if you want to call it an album, call it an album. Like,
there's no rules.
Yeah, there's no rules.
Right. It actually is 7 songs, really, because like Wintercoat and Shorts could be considered one song.
True.
I know, but think about all the punk bands who, released 20-song albums that were, 19 minutes. I think we're pretty good.
Yeah. It's funny that I just asked that question because I feel like it was fairly recently. There was not as big of a discourse, but like there was a small like discourse about it on DIY Twitter, which, there's always things rolling through there. And someone did bring up the point like, well, what about, the old school punk bands that are doing like 10-minute albums, but it's got technically like 25 to 30 songs because they're all like 30 seconds to a minute or some shit. But, but I like how you put it, Sage. Just call it what you want to call it. it's music anyways. Just enjoy it, put it on, listen to it.
Yeah. I mean, like with that logic, like Descendants would never have an album. Like I feel like
No.
Descendants has albums that are just full of like 30-second or a minute long songs. So same with like Choice Manor. So
And actually, before we get too far, I also fucked up, and I normally have everyone introduce themselves, and I realized I didn't have you guys do that so far. Can you go around real quick and say who you are and what you do in Final Boss Fight?
I'm Sage. I play drums and on some songs play guitar and sing.
I'm Billy. I play the bass guitar.
I'm John, and I play guitar and I sing, and every now and then I'll hop behind the drums.
With you guys like switching off and like hopping between, you know, guitar and drums, like how does that come about, and like how do you know when to kind of make the switch and be like, I'm going to play guitar on this song, or I'm going to play drums on this song?
I think we started doing that because I guess like we wrote songs that way together, like whether which of us was writing the song. Uh, we usually jam it out like on opposite instruments and then just and then switch. But every now and then, like one of us would just, or Sage would come with a song and just be like, I'm gonna keep this one, you know.
I feel like Sage's songs that he sings are particularly personal to him. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I mean, they're songs that I just want to sing. I guess. I mean, like I could just like do a different band and do it, but might as well just keep the same band and just switch instruments.
We would never let you sing about smoking cigarettes, John. You're too much of a good boy. We would never.
No, that's a cool way to, yeah, that's it's a cool way to do it. I know, like I've had, if everyone remembers, like the Doster episode, like they have basically like two lead singers where they kind of switch off depending on who kind of brings the song to the table, and it's cool that you guys are, I don't know if ambidextrous is the right word, but like more capable of like playing multiple instruments to kind of step back and like hop on, switch up the instruments during it, and like make it more of a personal, like this is my song, or like, because it gets those feelings out too, like when you're like live and watching it, it adds more to it. So I think that's a cool aspect that you guys do.
Yeah, and it's always like a cool moment live when it's like people watch us like shift instruments. Like it just kind of adds like a little thing to like the live shows too.
We call it the switcheroo.
The switcheroo.
And for a little bit, we had people chanting when Sage comes up to let him cook. But lately, that's been switching to let him come. I don't know. That's
someone just misheard it one time, and they said, "Let Sage come, let Sage come."
There was like a mix lately, or yeah, like some crowds it would just be like a mix of like, you know, let Sage cook and then let Sage come, and then other times like the let Sage come will just overpower event, you know, by the end of it.
You know, I don't know what you guys are doing over in Michigan, but you know, in these Christian lands over here in my part of the Midwest. No, that's awesome, and especially that the crowd gets so into it with, you know, being ready and prepared for the old switcheroo. But kind of, you know, jumping a little bit back into this record, I know, like John, you kind of mentioned how technically, you know, it is 8 songs, but it could be classified as 7 because, you know, technically the first and last song are originally together. I mean, it was released as its own single, and then, you know, it was also off of the original EP, which I have a question about that here in a little bit. But I thought it was cool before I knew it was on that EP. I thought it was cool that, you know, it got released on its own as like this double song, and then kind of splitting it to kind of be like bookends for this EP or album, I should say. I thought that was like a cool way to do it. What what was the thought process behind taking that, since it's already an established song, and splitting it the way you guys did?
I think we started doing our set like that at one point. We thought it'd be cool to just mess around with it, and we were already like planning on returning to that song because we just liked it that much, and wanted to just do it again, do it faster, do it a little more like we do live. And I'm starting to lose my train of thought here, but yeah, so it just kind of lined up very well. And shoot, what was it? Can you repeat? Can you run that by me again?
Yeah, what was the thought process about taking that song and kind of splitting it the way you guys did for the
Yeah,
album?
yeah, I think I just pretty much covered it all. It. You guys got anything?
Yeah, so I think like we did do that a couple times live, where we like started the set with Winter Coat and then ended with Shorts, and it was just like cool to kind of like split it up that way. I mean, I feel like every once in a while we'll do that with the set, but it also just works as its whole song. Um, and I guess we just thought it would be like an interesting idea to have it like start and finish the album, especially for people who like already knew the song. Like, it'd be cool to like revisit it in a different way.
Yeah, that song has always kind of been with us. When I first joined the band, like that was one of my favorite ones off the EP. And we usually close out our sets with that. It's a very cool cathartic moment. Even when when our first album came out, we still stuck with Winter Coat and Shorts. And yeah, I think that's a large reason why we recorded it again. It's because it's pretty popular, and I think it's a very well done song. I'd be down to record it a third time. Just have it keep going.
On every album.
Every album.
Yeah. No, it's awesome that you like brought that back, because I mean, also that you guys love it so much that you brought it back and put it on, the self-titled, because I know doing a self-titled for any band is, you always gotta think about like, is this the right moment? Are these the right songs to be like, this is us in its totality? And I feel like, I mean, listening from the EP to this stuff now, I mean, I love the progression. I love to see where you guys are at, but when did you realize like we can actually be like, this is us, like this is our stamp, Final Boss Fight on Final Boss Fight?
Yeah, I'm honestly never thought of it that deeply. Like, I think I was just like, yeah, I can't really think of anything else to call it. So I mean, but that does make sense, because it covers a lot of different areas. Like we dabble in, like you said earlier, some ska, and and just a couple other different genres as well. And yeah, like I guess that would make sense, I guess, because we like to do a few different things.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, technically it's not self-titled because it's the acronym of our band. So we still could have an album called Final Boss Fight if we wanted.
That's when we really get serious.
That's when we're
Yeah. We're just kind of serious now.
But I have just always thought that was like a cool like acronym. That's right. It's an acronym. Yeah. Like a cool acronym for us, just FBF exclamation point. Like, and I feel like this new album kind of just like, even like the cover art is just fun. Like, it's a fun little name, just 3 letters. Like, it just kind of shows like what we are, and it's like, it's just a fun album. Like, like the ska song, there's just a lot of fun creative moments in the album.
Yeah, I think right now I don't know, we started this a few years ago, and just how much we've progressed. We just sound so much tighter, and we really honed in on our particular sound. Very proud of that, and I think this album is very emblematic of that. So these guys are great at writing songs, and like, I don't know, it just kind of comes out so naturally. Like, that is the final boss fight sound, whatever we come up with, you know. So it's awesome to have that. I love the chemistry.
Yeah, I think it's a solid album. I've enjoyed listening to it. Like, I think I listened to it probably 3 or 4 times today leading up to this. I mean, one, obviously I have to do that in my position to fully get the feel, but also two, like, it was fun to hit that like replay button and just, you know, go through it again. I do gotta say I love, since we've kind of mentioned it a couple times, I love, you know, that the ska-esque song just because it kind of like comes out of left field at first, and you're just like, okay, hell yeah, and then it like works so well with the rest of the collection of songs. Like there's not one on here that that like I don't like. It's definitely like a no skip album.
Appreciate that.
All
I think we should all take a drink.
Sorry, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we already cover what we're drinking on?
We did.
Not yet. We can do that here just a second. Hold on. No, you're fine.
I did a little research. I listened to a couple episodes. I was listening to the Saturdays one, the Casper. I had to listen. I had to see my buddies on there.
Oh yeah, of course. Dude, I gotta say, like, I love the whole Michigan scene that you guys have going on. I know, like, you guys are pretty well spread out too, but like, you all seem so connected with each other. Obviously, you know, you got like the Casper dudes that are way up north in Marquette. You got, like we kind of just mentioned, Saturdays at your place. They're over in Kalamazoo, and then, you know, obviously you guys in Lansing. There's someone else I feel like that I talked to that was in Lansing. But then you also have, you know, I've talked to like Seahome. I've talked to, I'm gonna blank on all of their names. In a Daydream.
Yeah.
Like, so many people from the Michigan scene, and like it's one that, like, if people aren't realizing it, they're really sleeping on what's going on in Michigan. And that, like we kind of talked about earlier, like, you know, I did that episode with Casper, and then, you know, I kept seeing them talk about you guys, and I was like, okay, here's another one that's kind of just opened up the door a little bit more into you guys' scene, and Michigan doesn't miss. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
No, it is really cool. Like, I feel like I've made so many friends like from doing this, and like I know, like in the Casper one, they discussed like the group chat that we all have. There's like 5 or 6 different bands in there, and it's just like it's constant. Like, I have had it on mute for so long because it blows the fuck up with just the most random things. Like, it'll just be us reciting bits and riffing on that for hours.
Dane posting like pictures of his really fucked up McDouble or McChicken.
Oh man. No, yeah, and like I don't know, we're all kind of like in each other's bands, and like that. I don't know. There's more bands than there are people, I think, in the bands. So,
yeah, just about.
I mean, I think even between the 3 of us, there's like, you know, 4 or 5 side projects that we could point to.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. It's very, very communal. It's like we're all just helping each other out and make music together.
Yeah, I feel like we're incredibly lucky to have this scene in Michigan, because like it just feels like the right place at the right time type of thing. Because like this is just something like growing up, like I never had personally any involvement in anything as cool as this anywhere near it, and there's like something I always wish I could have had. So it's just kind of like a dream come true in a way.
Yeah, I love to see it. You know, I'm originally from Iowa, and like our scene was kind of, I feel like a little bit like you guys, where we weren't super near each other distance wise. Like, we were all pretty spread out, but like we were also like kind of ride or die for everyone in our scene, because, you know, we were each other's friends. Like, that was, we had each other, and then like also our like local people. But it's just nice to see somewhere else like just popping off so well. Like this, I'm excited to see what 2024 is like for Michigan in general.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. It's insane how much it's grown in the past, you know, 2 or 3 years, you know, and a lot of that is thanks to, you know, our friends in Lansing who, you know, opened up their house to, playing shows, once people were, getting out of the pandemic era a little bit. And just from there, it's skyrocketed into something very cool. We're very happy to be a part of it.
But yeah, 2024 for Michigan should be great. Hopping back into this record real quick, you guys did put out a music video for Escape from Roku City, which if people haven't checked out, it's just like this fun. I mean, there's shots from you guys playing. There's just shots from, I think, just you guys being out and about in general, which I've also talked about this before, where I've also, I don't know if it's just because we aren't seeing it as much or what it is, but I also really love like the just chill, laid back, just kind of style of music video that this was. And I really loved it for this song and like how it turned out. I know someone shot it for you. I'm blanking on their name.
Name is Steve.
Steve, shout out Steve.
Savog H is his stage name. Makes some cool vaporwave stuff.
Okay. Yeah, the video came out sick. Yeah. The video came out sick. Was that kind of like did you have any input as to like the idea for the music video, or was it more just like Steve taking the reins for it?
He kind of like surprised us with it a little bit. Like he had like mentioned that like we of course like he's like a friend of ours, and like he constantly was at shows like with the camera, like with his little like camcorder. And eventually like he told us, he was like, yeah, he was like, I have like so much footage. He was like, I think he was like, I like pretty much cooked up a whole video. He was like, I can send you guys like the rough cut. At least that was like the first I heard of it, was like when he had already like had like a rough version pretty much made. Like he might have like slightly mentioned it before that, but I think he was just like, yeah, like if you guys want this, I got it.
I always see him at shows with his camcorder.
Yeah.
And I think he even, he'll like, stage dive with it or crowd surf it and all that. So yeah, it was very cool. I love how it turned out. Very, very chaotic in some shots.
Yeah, I think it really shows like what we are as a band. Like there's so much of that video that like I've rewatched it obviously like a few times now, and like anytime I watch it I'm like, oh my god, like I remember that moment, like, or I'll be like, oh shit, like that was a crazy night, like, like, oh, there's a pigeon on top of a van in that video. That's that's what when the Casper guys were there.
I have that picture that they were talking about in that Casper in that Casper episode. They were that picture of Kenny. It was my van.
Pigeon, yeah.
It was like a domesticated pigeon that wouldn't leave.
It had a tag on.
Just hung out.
Yeah.
All day. Like I would walk by it every like hour or two and just be like, it's still there. I'm like, someone get their bird. Yeah, but I'll see if I can dig up that photo maybe. If we
okay.
No, but I mean like that video is just like the perfect like example of what we are. Like it's fun and chaotic, and just like it just really shows like what it's like to be at a Final Boss Fight show, or friends with Final Boss Fight, or
amps are falling down.
Amps are falling down, birds are climbing on shit.
Since you do mention that, like, Steve normally has his camcorder with him all the time, I did just watch the Summit Shack Excellency Fest like video. Is Steve the dude that always has the heat?
Yeah,
he's
as they put it. Yeah. Okay.
I found the big ZD video, by the way. Let's see. Oh,
there he is.
Bird.
Wait, this is the wrong one. This is here we go.
He's just chilling with everyone.
Who the hell's on top of the
That's
band?
crazy.
Kenny was playing Superman.
What?
Oh Lord! Hope he found its way home.
Yeah. There was, yeah, he's just saying there's no Big ZD here. That was a interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I might have derailed that there a little bit.
No, you're fine. I love that it's a good callback to the Casper episode.
Yeah.
Because when you brought that up, I completely forgot about the whole bird situation. So at first I was like, what is he talking about? But I love that I finally got to see video evidence of it. Because also, like, no shade on Casper, they were smoking a good amount, and I was like, I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about right now.
It was so funny to watch Jason get progressively more fucked up during that interview. like midway through, I was like, that is drunk Jason. I was like, I can tell. I love it.
It's a good time. For someone that might be like just now finding out about Final Boss Fight, and you know they're listening to this new album. Obviously, like, I have my favorites, but like, what are, in your guys' opinions, like the ones that like they should listen to, or something that they should expect to get out of like listening to Final Boss Fight?
I'll let John go first.
Pass. Throwing it back. Reverse.
I'll say so. I wasn't an original member of this band. I joined about, I don't know, a year after that first EP came out. So I was a fan, actually, of Final Boss Fight. I really dug Spitney Beers, which I believe was the first single, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Particularly John's vocals on it. That's the stuff. I don't know. I think people should dig back on that one, because it's a very well done song, and I think it encapsulates kind of the pop punk thing that we're going for.
Yeah, okay. I would say House Rules is like a fun one. It's for someone who just starting with us. I feel like it kind of encapsulates our live show and some effects. I also feel the same way with Escape Roku City, like, especially with the video.
Oh
Yeah. I think Mids.
Oh yeah.
Mids is a good example of just like kind of like what we are as a band. And I'd say like Bad Night to Be a Beer off the new album is like kind of the direction I would like to go. And I feel like that is also a very like important song for us, because it's like just about like the Michigan scene, and it's about like just like being with your friends, and like I think a lot of people can relate to that song, like people that are, you know, like going to shows a lot and they're seeing wherever it may be. Like I think that's like, if someone were to ask to hear a song, I would probably show them that.
This question just popped in my head, and I don't think I've ever. I for sure I've never asked this. This will be an interesting one. I might just cut this whole spot. But let's say someone's getting into, what's like the most chaotic song that you would show them to be like, if you want to see the other side of Final Boss Fight, this is the one you need to listen to.
Supercomputer.
Yeah.
Just really throw them off. Be like, yo, check out this song, and then listen to everything else.
Yeah. I would show them like 3 of like the pop punk emo songs and be like, but wait, we also kind of can sound like this. I guess I'd also show them like the end of Winter Coat Shorts, when it kind of gets like just very like chaotic sounding.
Yeah, we get noise rock for
yeah,
30 seconds.
It gets kind of like screamy at the end and very just like just kind of all over the place. I feel like that's like the most chaotic. Like the most like different would be like Supercomputer, of course.
Which I love that that's the answer, because that's probably what I would also pick too. But you know, that's low key one of my favorites off the new album. But like, we're obviously, everyone that's been listening to Final Boss Fight, we all know what we're getting into. But supercomputer comes on, like where did that thought of like, hey, let's just take this a completely different direction for this song, and because it's has that ska sound, it's a lot vibier, like a little poppier. Not saying it's bad, because I said, I do love it, but where did the thought process come from to do that specific song?
We opened once. People open for Muster Plug one time and think they can write a ska song.
I got wasted and like walked up to them and was like, "Hey, we really like your band." like we're honored to play this with you guys. Like we were like maybe playing shows for like a year at that time, and they had like in the back room like unlimited. It was a cider place, and so they only sold ciders, like literally nothing else. And yeah, they gave us a whole ass like couple kegs back there, and I took free reins, I guess.
It was a fun night. I mean, like Sage and I kind of listened to ska music like when we were in high school and stuff, and I've always had an appreciation of it. So actually, I brought the song to John and Sage, and usually anytime I write a song, it's usually I start off with like an apology. It's like, hey, sorry guys, I wrote a ska song. Are you guys interested in it? And kind of just went from there. I'm writing a mambo song right now that I have no idea where I'm going with it. So, I'll have to try to shoehorn that in. I don't know. I have an appreciation for the genre, and I hope we did it justice. But with our own little final boss fight twist, I think John's guitar playing and singing, really really put it together as a final boss fight track. So
yeah, I loved it because it does feel like it is like you're listening to just a song off like a ska band's like album. Like I was straight up just waiting for like the horns to come in. Like obviously that was all that I feel like was missing, but you guys in my mind knocked that out of the park. I'm sure there's some ska aficionados that are probably saying might say something different, but fuck what they say. This is Beers with Bands. I say what I say.
I can't wait until the ska community hears that song and blows up.
They're gonna be so pissed.
A bunch of ska old heads. They're gonna hear it.
What the hell?
This isn't real ska.
Oh no. Mustard
or they're
plug.
gonna find it, love it, and then start to listen to something else and be like, "Wait, what happened?"
Power chords?
You guys aren't upstroking. What the hell is this?
Oh man. But at the time of this recording, this album's been out for almost a month, because we're recording on the 21st. Today's 21st. Yeah, 21st of December. It came out on the 24th of November. I've enjoyed listening to it. I'm sure a bunch of people have also enjoyed listening to it. Obviously, if you're one of those people that look at Spotify numbers, it's doing, in my mind, pretty well, considering like my numbers are not near those. So, you guys are killing it in that aspect. And I know this episode comes out in like 2024, and it's still kind of early, but like what's 2024 look like for Final Boss Fight? This album just came out. Like, what's next coming up? And you planning any tours, doing anything else?
We got a couple we're still planning them out. Yeah, I think a couple goals for us would be play some more, get some more festivals, and then some more, do a couple more tours here and there, a couple weekenders, and just keep playing some good shows, making new friends, and having a good time.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we are kind of planning one for the summer. I know we definitely want to plan a few more. Even if they're not like long tours, just like little weekenders or week-long tours. I think those are super fun. Just seeing new places. That's always crazy to me.
Oh yeah. I'm excited to go out of state again. The last tour we went on over the summer, that was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
New York and Ohio and Pittsburgh and all that. So I'm excited to do it again.
definitely. I'm excited to see more urban deer like in the middle. We were in downtown Pittsburgh at like just I remember on this cobblestone road and I look off to the right of me and like 10 feet away are just two deer. Like I'm like, what the hell? We are in the middle of Pittsburgh.
All right. And those Pittsburgh deer, they have criminal records. So they'll mess you up.
It's crazy when you see like animals like in the urban setting. Like, so I'm in Minneapolis, and there's like two spots in town or like in the metro area where you'll drive around and you'll just see wild turkeys just like straight up chilling. Like they'll take their time crossing the roads, just like it's like they like go slow mo and then they look at you while you're in your car and just like, what are you gonna do? I'm a turkey. Like fucking let me walk. It's super fucking weird to see things like that. And then I think I just saw an article that said that there was like a fucking bobcat or cougar like just roaming around a part of Minneapolis, and I'm like, how did you get this far into town? Like, there's interstates that you have to cross. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Paying tolls. Oh,
Right.
Lord.
I also don't. I also want to make sure I'm not missing anything with Final Boss Fight. Obviously, you know, we've kind of jumped around the record. We've kind of hit some different spots. But is there anything that like I might have not have brought up that you want to talk about or that you want the people to know about?
Not
So.
not specific.
I think
A couple friends making songs, and you can do it too. Anyone can do it. So why don't you go do it? There. That's my thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And then I think, hold on, I had it up here somewhere. I know you guys got tapes for the full length. Are you guys gonna do any like tapes or trying to do any like vinyl presses for the FPF?
I think
we don't have it planned right now, but I'd like to. I mean, I feel like I wish we would have planned it beforehand, but none of us did.
we're still very DIY, and when we mean DIY, we mean like it's literally just us three, pretty much. Just like, hey, let's try doing this, and we're like, all like, yeah. And then like another week or two will go by, and it's like, hey, shit, we all forgot to like do that one thing. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, okay.
Yeah. We try to shop it around to labels a little bit for a vinyl press or something like that, but I don't know. Vinyl's pretty expensive, all things considered.
Yeah, I definitely would like to do like a tape run.
Tape runs are good
for this in the future. I mean, I feel like there's no expiration date really on it.
Right. But yeah, John, I totally feel that of you know having a thought and then just like forgetting about it, because at least you are one, like there's three of you where someone might remember something. It's just me on this end, so like I'll think of something and then just completely get distracted and forget about it, and then I'll be like, oh shit, like I could have done that like 3 months ago. Well, too fucking late now. So I'm just gonna keep going with what I'm doing. But hope it'd be if you guys do tape runs or anything like that, you know, we'll talk links later in the episode. Everyone keep an eyes out for that, or for sure go get tapes for the full length, because I mean those are nice. I think they're like a pink color. I just had it up, like a nice little hot pink. So add those to the collection. I haven't decided if I want to dive back into tapes. I've already spent so much on everything else.
Yeah.
But,
All right.
But yeah, this album is sick. It's a great listen. You know, everyone that's listening, please go listen to this new FPF exclamation point album, and just be ready for everything else that's coming next. Maybe I don't know. I had a thought, but I just lost it. So, but yeah, as we start to transition here, you know, this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes, because I'll definitely do that for you. but I know you guys have some beverages in front of you on this fine Thursday night. What are you guys drinking?
All right. So I have a classic PBR. I think this PBR was attached to this one, which was in my trunk for a couple weeks. But then I found it, put it in my fridge for a few days, and now here's a band.
Hell yeah, appreciate it.
I'm rocking a Guinness Stout here. I love Guinness. I want to go to Ireland one day and drink a Guinness at a pub. It's delicious, malty goodness.
I'm drinking Truly lemonades.
Dude, so the Truly lemonades are probably like, I think the pink lemonade is like my favorite. It goes down so smooth.
Yeah. Yeah, they are like I mean, I'm just a big like seltzer guy. Like White Claws, Trulies, Vizzies. Those are like my go-tos. I mean, I don't know. I can appreciate like a good IPA, but like just for like sitting and drinking, like I'm just gonna go with the Truly. Like that's just my go-to.
I do gotta say, also, you drank that. I feel like you drank that Guinness probably faster than I've seen most people drink a full can of Guinness.
And you know what? This is my second one too. So I had 2 full meals for this podcast. It feels
Dude,
like.
hell yeah. And then obviously, John, you know, you came straight from my heart with the good old PBRs. I got a full case sitting in the kitchen, but like I said, I went out to a show last night, drank a lot of hams, and I needed something a little bit lighter today for you guys. So
those lemonades are solid too. I've had those a couple times.
Okay.
But you know, that's this little beer segment for this episode. Now we're going to kind of transition to the later half of this episode, which is always my favorite part of the episode and the reason that these episodes even exist. This is where we kind of talk about some fun stories from you guys' time of music, whether they're shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. The way I like to think about it is think about the stories you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the best stories that everyone loves to hear.
Remember when you got that one time, Sage?
I did get. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I was drawing a blank. I got pepper sprayed at a like college co-op show in East Lansing. Not by the cops, which most people, when I tell that story, they're like, "Oh, like yeah, it was by the cops." No, my girlfriend went to like use the bathroom and like got in like an argument with some girl who was in the line because the girl thought that no matter what, it was her time to use the bathroom. And so my girlfriend was just kind of like, okay, whatever, and just like walked downstairs. And then the girl like came up to one of my girlfriend's friends, like started talking to her, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, like that's her, like that's that bitch." And the girl said, "Oh, I'm that bitch," and then punched my girlfriend, and a huge fight broke out. And I like talked to like the owners of the house, and I was like, "Hey, like I'm in a band that's playing like later tonight." I was like, "You got to get that girl out of here. Like she is causing fights." So they went to kick her out, and she walked like 30 feet away and walked back with pepper spray and pepper sprayed a group of like 15 of us. Yeah. And Billy and John were downstairs when that happened. They were not outside. So
our friends were playing in the band Dear Heretic while that was happening, and I was recording, and John, I got it on video of John showing me the text of Sage going, "I just fucking got pepper sprayed." Gas like on video. So that was nice. The irony of it all was like, I don't know, it was a very packed house, and like Dear Heretic was having one of their best sets I've ever seen. And then you just had to get pepper sprayed. That was rough. That sucked.
Well, and then like when I got pepper sprayed, I didn't feel it at first. I was like, okay, it's whatever. and then everyone else started choking and like falling to their knees, and I was like, oh, like I guess I didn't get it that bad. And then they were like handing out like bottles of water to like have people like wash their face off, and I was like, okay, I was like, I feel like a small burning in my throat. I guess I'll take a drink. And as soon as I did, like it activated the pepper spray.
Oh, the water, no.
Yeah. So water activates it. So as soon as it like touched my mouth or my face, it just like it felt like I was on fire.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. We walked over to a different house and they had milk and like they had like a shower there that we could use. It was it was terrible.
Those MSU co-op shows can be interesting. You know, sometimes, you know, a lot of people will come, a lot of, you know, drunk, you know, 19, 20-year-olds who will pack out the place, but then, you know, you get some stuff like that, unfortunately. So in East Lansing, that's kind of, you know, those house shows, those parties that you play, you know, 1 a.m. That's how you kind of like, I don't know, get started, I suppose, if you're playing our particular kind of music, or just rock music in general. Some of them can be fun, and then some of them you can get pepper sprayed at. So you never know.
Yeah.
How was your set after that, though?
We didn't get to play.
Oh,
I shut it down.
Well, and also like I was considering it. I was like, I wonder if I could play. And then I thought about like how much I sweat when I play drums, and I was like, if I had sweat pouring down my face, I was like, that would activate so much of this pepper spray. Because I remember like when I showered after, I was like, it was like so much worse than when I actually got pepper sprayed.
right.
But it would have been a great show. There was like 100 people in that house. So.
Yeah.
It was so packed in there. I remember being so disappointed that we couldn't play that show.
While Sage was getting pepper sprayed, I made fun of an Australian girl's accent by accident. So
Yeah.
she was just saying something to me, like she was asking, you know, who was on stage or whatever, and she said in an Australian accent, and so I replied to her in an Australian accent, and she's like, "Is that what you think I sound like?" I'm like, whatever. You can.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be rude to Australians. It's them,
Remember,
and that's all we have.
she sat on my amp and I looked at her and I was like, and she's like, what can I sit on it?
That was good. That was a good accent.
You ain't down under no more.
It's a little more like back of your throat, you know. Yeah, well, like
it is a jarring.
Sit on it.
Not expecting it, you know. That's rough.
Yeah, it's almost that's like Irish in it.
Them too. If there's any Irish people listening, come on. Just kidding. We need to go to Ireland. We need to apologize. We need to do an apology tour.
You just said how bad you want to go to Ireland. They're not letting you over there.
Right.
A little Irish. I think I can make fun of their accents a little
Like
bit.
they just put up your photo like at the airport, like not allowed in.
Do not let this band in.
Oh God.
And the do not fly.
What I make fun of.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're never gonna play a show in Ireland now, or Australia, especially Australia. I'm like, get the fuck out.
We can just insult as many countries as possible on this podcast, and then we'll do like an apology tour.
Ooh,
Get some shows.
We'll court with, hey, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm done. Oh, that's yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I have another. We were tweeting about this the other day. We had a little run-in with the police in Buffalo, and so I'll start off by like I have an old GMC van. It's paint's chipping. It looks kind of, you know, a little sketchy to be in downtown Buffalo like at 12 a.m. on a Wednesday night. And also Buffalo crawling with cops. Like I think I saw about half of the cars on the road at this point in time were cop cars, and so we were leaving the venue, and little did I know that we left for this tour. I forgot to re-up my tags,
Ooh.
and so my tags are expired. So this cop car sees this old white van paint chipping out of state expired tags in downtown Buffalo. They were probably like, "Oh, we're gonna get." They were licking their lips. They were like, "They're gonna bust something." And so I immediately get pulled over, and two other cop cars come from both other roads too, and like corner me in immediately, like within seconds of the first car pulling me over. And I'm just like, they walk up. They didn't waste any time. They got up there, and I'm just like, "Hey, we're a band. Sorry."
We're whatever law you're gonna cite, we are exempt from it.
Right.
Yeah, and they're they were kind of they weren't nice, but they weren't like super rude. But they were just like, you can get towed for having expired tags and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't, I kind of didn't realize my tags were expired until I left, which is kind of true. Billy kind of told me, like, as we were leaving, like, hey, your tags are expired. I was like, oh, yeah, oops. But so yeah, I was like, yeah, I know, I'll get it fixed when we get back home. And they were like, all right, just don't get caught again. And they sped off for something else. They had a call and they got out of there quick. But yeah, I still haven't gotten the tags.
Hell yeah, dude! Lesson learned.
Yeah.
We're driving
yeah.
down.
And then that's not the end of it. I was like, we just got away with that. I was so terrified of losing, like, getting our van towed and having the tour canceled and stuff. And immediately after they pull away, the guys are still buzzed in the back seat tweeting like, I just killed a cop in Buffalo or whatever. We just shot a cop in Buffalo, and I'm like, guys, they just were nice enough to let us go. Like, let's not fucking get our karma just reversed so quickly. The tour's not even halfway done yet.
Well, like as soon as we were pulling away, like I don't even think we were driving away yet, but I just went on like a drunken anti-cop rant.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, those cops crash on the way to wherever they're going.
I'm just like, I'm driving going, shut up, Sage. Sage, shut up.
I just started to rant, and that turned into Billy tweeting at like 1:30 in the morning and saying, Sage just killed a cop in Buffalo, New York.
We were driving down from Buffalo to like the middle of New York, Bath, New York. So it was like a 2-hour drive, and I don't know, we were trying to just fucking with Sage, asking him like, who counts as a cab? Do venue sound guys count as a cab? Count as a cab? I'm pretty sure that lasted the entire 2-hour ride.
Yeah. Also, our van was like on the verge of overheating for like half of the ride. So like, I was, I'm all for like, fuck cops and all that stuff, but I was just like praying that we made it home in one piece, like the entire. I'm like, please don't jinx me. Like,
that was fun.
Yeah.
Also, if people have watched that Summit Shack Excellency video where they're talking to you guys, because Bill, you just go, oh yeah, Sage shot a cop in New York, and then just immediately was like, whoa, hold on, like that didn't actually happen. And then because I remember the tweets that came out, like quoting that, just like, hey, just so everyone knows, like I didn't actually shoot a cop, like.
All right,
that's great because that's full circle right there, people.
Yeah, I do not need the cops banging my door down and like, all right, there coincidentally was a cop. like they like found something out. They were like, okay, well, there was an assault on a police officer during that time. So
couldn't figure out who it was. So hey, you know what? This worked. Anything else? Oh,
you go. I was just gonna say, like, every story I can think of is just like a one-liner bit that we have.
Okay, I was gonna get into like the Casper thing. That kind of like with the whole one-liner thing. That's like a big thing, like we do with Casper and a bunch of the guys from the Lansing scene. Like, but I was gonna say like I remember they were Casper in the Casper video they were talking about how that one I'm blinking on this. It was the lead single for their last album.
Discomfort in.
Just yeah, Discomfort in. And the whole the whole fat ass mishearing and stuff. But that's I'm pretty sure that song was written about that weekender we did with them because he was crammed in that little Sonic.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um, but I remember Jason rode with we had Jason and I believe like Mikey or Kenny ride with us in our van from like from one point to the other from like I don't know Kazoo to Chicago or something like that. And it was that's kind of when we started becoming really close with Casper and like we're just all like sharing dumbass stories like that. You know, like Jason was talking about like you know like I don't know just crazy like Kenny's alter ego when he's drunk and stuff like that.
it was Mikey, Prison Mike. Yeah.
Prison Mike.
Yeah. And then I think was it that tour where the Bad Night to Be a Beer line came from?
I think I stole that from Chris Herman from Seaholm at one point, but we co-opted it as our own.
Yeah.
Jason is a character though. I love the Casper guys. They're
Yeah.
it's a whole different world in the UP. Actually, our friend Dane, he grew up in Iron Mountain, just on the Wisconsin UP border, and Jason taught Dane how to play the drums. Apparently, I don't know if Dane remembers any of it, but you know that apparently happened.
Weird connection because it was like way before any of us started.
Yeah.
And then I met Dane on r/emo
Mm.
before Final Boss Fight existed, and before like our little collective of bands, before like any of us really had much of anything. I just met Dane on r/emo, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to start a band, but I don't really know like what to do with it." And he just sent me like some acoustic ideas, and then his band Corduroy Pants formed. Rest in peace. They're not a band anymore. For now. They've broken up like 3 times. So then his band formed and Final Boss Fight had just like started to exist. And that's kind of how like our little scene, I guess, came together. Which is kind of a weird connection.
Yeah.
Because
Dane is the greatest gift the UP has ever produced.
Well, you know, as we start to wind down, you know, these have been great stories. I love hearing about like the Michigan scene because, like we kind of talked about earlier, you guys are so connected and you know thriving with everything you guys are doing, and I just love to see it. It's probably like one of my favorite scenes, you know, outside of like my local scene that I love seeing like all the bands come from and like doing cool things. But you know, I do have one final question. I think it's I guess maybe two questions. I want to obviously, you know, your guys' band is called Final Boss Fight. I know I could ask you like who would be your final boss to fight. Like it was already done. It's people have asked it. I don't want to ask the same questions. My question for you guys is if someone were to let's say you guys were put into a video game and you guys someone was fighting Final Boss Fight, which one of the 3 of you would be the final boss?
I like to think it would be
a tough one.
Like would be like a 3-headed monster. Like we'd all share the same body, but like us like our 3 heads.
We all got like different superpowers, but like so it's like combined.
Yeah, we'd all like shoot like different things.
They're very weird superpowers. They're not like necessarily like super like powers. Like one of us can like shoot Mountain Dew out of his like hand, you know? or PBR rather.
Oh yeah. I think anyone could beat like us individually.
Yeah.
But I think the final boss would be the power of friendship, and that is unbeatable, my friend.
It's true. That is true. Man, I've had a good time, and I've loved the stories that we've been telling, and just the vibes the whole episode. And usually, what normally happens is people will tell me a few like terrible stories, which I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still great. So I always got to end off on a high note. We're already sitting very well. I still want to end off on, see if we can top it a little bit. My final question to the three of you is, in your time with Final Boss Fight, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced so far?
I'll go with the easiest one. Our last show at the Pyramid Scheme was pretty cool. We got to play with like two of our favorite bands, Saturday's Your Place and Casper Fight Scene. It's always great seeing them and hang out with them. And also Headband Henny is crazy as well. And just I think that was probably the largest crowd we ever played to. But then also like a good portion of the crowd was all there for us, so it wasn't like we're just playing to a big room with people standing there. Like it was like, I guess some of our friends who were there like said that when we started playing there was like how like in the crowd, when you're in a crowd, like there's a big push when music starts going, when there's when a pit opens up and stuff, and there was like that effect, and like just being able to like put on a show like that for other people is like something that's crazy to me, because like that, experiencing that yourself, like you never like that, like it's just so cool when you're younger and when you're doing that stuff for the first time. And even now it doesn't go away, but like I think being able to give that to other people is like a cool thing.
Yeah,
that experience.
We've made so many connections throughout the state, like little pockets in Kalamazoo and Lansing and Detroit and Flint, and just people from all across the state came to that show, and that was just really cool to see. It wasn't just playing to strangers, even though there were quite a few strangers there. Like we had people who have been by our side for a good while. It was awesome. That was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the definite answer of like what like our best moment as a band has been. Like it just felt like
Cheers to that, brother.
Oh, and what the hell?
It broke the sound barrier.
Oh wow.
Like that was just like the perfect show for us, and I think it kind of proved like what we're capable of, like especially like that being our last show of the year. Like it showed, I guess, like what we're capable of in 2024. Like if we're able to play to a sold out, like bigger-ish venue like that, like and then of course there's like we played the Goblin Zone, which is a amazing venue in Lansing. I feel like anytime that we've played that, it's just gotten better and better, and it's just like fitting like 70 people into a tiny garage and just watching them all crowd surf is like, those are like some of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
because people always just go insane at that venue.
It's like a big community party. Like it just, yeah, and like Sage said, it just keeps growing and growing and getting crazier and crazier. And it's just something to seem, it's very special to kind of witness change before your very eyes.
Yeah.
I mean that's amazing that you guys are having such solid moments, and like John, how you said where when you guys started playing at that holiday show, that there was that push where everyone like moved forward or like did something right when you guys were about to play. Like I recently saw I got to see Ben Quad on their latest tour with Tom Mulligan, and I know that I listen to Ben Quad. I know I get my friends to listen to Ben Quad, but when I went, and the amount of people that like we're having, like singing along to Ben Quad, like those moments are cool, and to like have been your friends in that crowd, to be like, oh, it's not just me that's here for them. They're like, there's other people that I don't know that are also here to support my friends and do this. Like, that's an amazing moment, and I'm so happy that, you know, they at least told you that so you guys could know about it, since you obviously hard to see some stuff on stage. But that's an amazing moment, and I'm so happy for the journey that you guys have been on so far. But I'm stoked to see what you guys have cooking up your sleeves for the future.
Same.
Yeah, definitely. Ben, like speaking of Ben Quad, like that's like a huge inspiration for me, because I feel like, what was that, like a year and a half ago, like when we played at the Fledge with them?
Oh yeah, we played with Ben Quad for like 15 people.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like people.
It was
like,
right when that album came out.
yeah.
Okay.
It was like Riley, Ben Quad, us, and just like not a lot of people came, and it's just crazy to see that, like, you know, like they played like an out of state show, and you know, like we've played quite a few out of state shows where it's like we'll show up and it's like, oh cool, like there's only 10 or 15 people here, and it's like that kind of stuff can be like somewhat like disheartening, I guess, but it's still like it's crazy to see that it can go from that to like, you know, like what you were saying,
Hundreds.
everyone in the crowd is going absolutely apeshit for them for a whole tour.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
I mean, obviously we're all part of the Bed Squad, but this isn't their episode. They had their episode. They can come back on. They know where to reach me. But you know, hopefully we get to see you in all these states and ripping different stages. Hopefully, you know, you guys make it out to Minneapolis. I'd love to
Absolutely.
get some beers with you and catch a Final Boss Fight set in person. You know, like I said, I've had a great time. You guys are putting out great stuff. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or Final Boss Fight in general, where can they find it?
Our Instagram, we can follow us there at Final Boss Fight 1. Because exclamation points taken. And then if you go on our Instagram, you can find our link tree in our bio, and that can take you to the store to get tickets. Maybe our YouTube, I don't know. Our shop.com, our OnlyFans, anything else, we got it.
By the time this video is up, I promise I will update the link tree so it doesn't have tickets to shows that were 6 months ago.
Oh yeah, if you want to go to that Sanctuary show in June, better get your tickets.
Last June.
I mean, I will say, I was just on the link tree today. I don't remember seeing links to tickets on there, so you might have already done some work.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we just never put it on there.
Yeah.
Probably.
I promise I did.
But yeah, everyone that's depending on where you found this episode, whether it's, you know, Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, or you watch the YouTube version and got to see their lovely faces like I did tonight, check the hyperlinks, go follow them on all the socials, stay up to date for, you know, future tour dates, future shows, you know, music, maybe some possible tapes for the latest album, and just go buy tapes for the full length anyways. Add those ones to your collection, but you know, stay up to date with everything that Final Boss Fight has going on. I know I'm looking forward to it. Everyone else should be as well. And you know, one last big thank you to the three of you for taking the time out of your fine Thursday to sit down with me and have a few brews.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
It was very fun.
We'll for sure do this again sometime, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.
Cheers.
Beers with bears.